This could be you, or could have been. The cards you're unknowingly dealt at birth, whether that be the ace of spades or the two of diamonds, as Spike would say, you're going to carry that weight. Cyberpunk Edgerunner brings attention to the harsh reality of our world and goes deeper, because this very well could have been you. So how would you react? How would you escape it? Even more is the question of how poverty throws you into severe mental strain, even after escaping its grip. Today's society appears to treat mental illness through a much more understanding lens, a lens of forgiveness and empathy, though there is one major caveat: our reaction to those with such circumstances. The idea that somebody in psychosis cannot be helped or cannot be saved has seemingly been drilled into society's heads, and for the most part, it's true. Although that is not the major issue here. It's what got them into these situations in the first place. For mental illness, I'm not saying everyone can be helped and avoid it, as in some sense it's genetic and affects everybody differently. Yet often there's a reason people find themselves in such mental states. This reason among many is very often poverty and the need to get out of the repeating cycles society has created. It becomes a battle that even when out of it feels as though it never ends, leading to the inevitable breakdown of one's core sense of self and belonging. Cyberpunk Edgerunner embodies this issue, beginning by showcasing the feeling of hopelessness when struggling to get out of the cycle of poverty, starting with this gorgeous montage displaying just that. David is thrown into poverty without a mother to support him or any guidance. This constant cycle of others needing something from him forces David to do some rash, detrimental things. He fights for a position in a gang of cyberrunners which he joins for money, and as such, David is forced to grow up, lose his innocence, and rapidly mature, which you've probably seen in people around you or yourself. So that's for another video. When you lose something that keeps you grounded as a child, you are forced to grow up whether you like it or not. David breaches the constraints of poverty and lives in a penthouse with a beautiful woman, yet he can't accept this. He still has a need for more money, more friends, more mods, which leads to overindulgence into cyber gear and over-meddling himself to a point his brain just can't handle, which is a beautiful motif in the show that David will follow his teacher and reach the same inevitable fate as him. Maine as a character beautifully encompasses this idea of the cycle of poverty and never having enough when you finally do have enough, continuing to increase his gear and eventually losing a sense of reality in what I would say is one of, if not the most gorgeous and heartbreaking scenes in the entire show.
David,
which leads to the next issue at hand, the breakdown of one's sense of self when put into this cycle of poverty, shown in a very literal sense with David's mental decline. Even with the support of others, all feels hopeless, and the constant need to keep pushing and then push some more leads to so much mental strain, all one can do is crack. The hopelessness of the person in poverty or now out of poverty never leaves them. The fight must continue. David hides this and continues fighting. He is constantly picking up new jobs and hiding his deteriorating mental state, all to keep up with the facade, or should I say need to keep fighting in his mind. This need to prove himself is still strong, even when out of poverty, because in his mind he is still in the fight to get out, i.e. getting new mods and still struggling to find dangerous work, just as Maine did. The mental strain put on you in poverty can never truly be quelled. Mental overload is shown in metal and mods, but it's a metaphor for the degradation of David's mental psyche after having fought for so many years. He needs to continue to fight to survive such a hostile environment, even having risen to the top of it. Everyone reaches a breaking point, whether it's through the strive to get money or power or some other intangible thing our society demands, never really goes away. In David's case, this hits its climax in his exoskeleton transformation and the sad reality of Lucy not being able to help him overcome this struggle. Society today understands that everyone has issues and not everybody can help these issues, but that doesn't help the story of David. He was pushed into this mental strain by a need for money, and with it comes responsibility, maturity, and a rapid weight put on his shoulders. Cyberpunk Edgerunner could also be a metaphor for David and Goliath. David, no matter how small, has to rise up against the throes of society and become great. Against all odds, fight the Goliath that poverty is and defeat it. David has the heart, courage, and commitment that matters, that puts him in the safe place, and that eventually leads to his downfall. Along with this loss of innocence and strive to reach the top in a touching metaphor, he makes it the top for his mother. Even though it's in a different sense than what he and his mother would have expected, it's a touching metaphor in relation back to that very first scene, showing the cycle of poverty and how you never step out of it. That's all for my analysis. I hope you took something out of this that you didn't see in the original. This is one series I might give a 10 out of 10, and there's so many reasons why, which I'm going to discuss in coming videos, so stay tuned. It's the Loadout.